Oh my God, you're expecting twins? That's so exciting. Or you've already brought them home. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share with you 10 things that I wish I knew before popping out twins in 2020. These are things I really wish other twin moms had told me. At the beginning of the video, I'm gonna share what I wish I had known about the pregnancy. And then at the end of the video, I'm gonna share what I wish I had known about the postpartum period. I'm wearing my mama sweatshirt, which was a Mother's Day present. These are the outfits that we did the twin announcement in after they were born. Let's start with everything I wish I had known about what a twin pregnancy was going to be like. The first thing, I had no idea how much monitoring was going to be required or offered. What is the test called? The NSTs, or non-stress test. So those happen in the third trimester near the end of the pregnancy, but I remember having to go into the hospital basically every single week, 2 monitors strapped to the big old belly. They would have to try to find the heart rate of each baby and then monitor it for a while. You would just sit there and relax, but it was still the fact that you had to go in once a week for these tests, which was a lot. You also get more ultrasounds than the normal singleton pregnancy, which I also wasn't aware of before conceiving twins. The next thing nobody told me about, or I didn't find that information when I was researching my twin pregnancy, but I didn't realize how exhausted I was going to be. There is singleton pregnancy exhaustion, and then there is twin pregnancy exhaustion. We conceived in November via IUI, and I slept the entire month of December. I had a nap every single day. I also had I forgot about this. I had really bad pregnancy insomnia. I would wake up in the middle of the night. I would have horrible dreams, couldn't get back to sleep. I watched a lot of Netflix during my pregnancy. I knew I was gonna get a big belly, but I didn't realize how big the belly was gonna get and that would contribute to the exhaustion. I had really wanted to be physically active during my pregnancy, and it just was not a reality for me. I was so uncomfortable in my body and just tired all the time. The other thing I wish I had known was how much a healthcare team can put the fear of God in you that you're going to have stillborns. And to this day, I know that they need to do it. I know there's a reason why. I know there's a lot of stats, but I don't understand why they put so much fear that you should be induced earlier or have an earlier C-section because of the fear of having stillborns. I had very healthy babies. They were doing great. I could have gone longer. I actually pushed my induction date to 38 weeks and a half, and I wish I had been more vocal and adamant to push it as long as I could. There was nothing wrong with the babies. They were growing fine. They weren't too big. Twin A was head down. I wanted a natural vaginal birth, so everything was going well. I could have waited. I truly believe that my traumatic birth was because of inducing the babies early. So I really wish that healthcare teams would tell you the risks and then leave it at that. Let you make the decision for yourself instead of constantly putting the fear of God in you. Okay, I wish some twin families would be really clear on what gear do you need to buy ahead of time and what can wait until after the babies arrive. The things that I knew I needed to buy ahead of time, and I still would recommend, is that twin bassinet so that you have that ready when you come home from the hospital, and the double stroller. But it's things like a swing or a bouncer. You don't necessarily need those right away. And the other thing is I would try out one with one baby, see if they like it, try it out with the other. You don't need to buy 2 swings or 2 bouncers right away because you won't know if your baby liked it. For example, my son hated the swing, my daughter loved it. Thank God we only had one. You don't need to buy everything right from the start. Same things with exercisers. My daughter hated hers. She would try to rip the toys off of it, but my son loved it. Jolly jumpers though, both of our twins absolutely loved Jolly jumpers, so that was a must in our household. In terms of the baby carriers, we bought a mini monkey, and I swear to God, I wore it once, my husband wore it once. So that was twice out of the total time. We very rarely were going out all by ourselves where we would carry both babies. If I was going out on my own, they were in the double stroller. My husband attempted it once with both babies in the mini monkey and walking. We had 2 dogs at the time. It was an absolute disaster. We ended up buying baby carriers from Tactical Baby Gear, and we absolutely loved those because whenever we went hiking or walking, it was always the 2 of us together. I would strap my daughter to me because she was a little bit lighter, and my husband would carry our son. The other thing I wish someone had told me was freezer meal prep ahead of time. So prep a whole bunch of meals that you absolutely love, freeze them so that you can easily just heat them up, throw them in the crock pot, whatever. I wish I had known just how much I needed to make. I made a few, but those maybe lasted us a week or two. I wish I had known to prep at least 2 to 3 months of freezer meals. If you are loving this content or find it helpful, if you know someone who's about to have twins, please send this to them and hit the like and subscribe buttons. Next up, I'm going to share what I wish I had known after I had popped the twins out. I knew that we needed to keep the twins on strict feeding and sleeping schedules, but what I didn't know ahead of time was about age-appropriate wake and nap windows. I wish I had known this at a time. So we ended up sleep training the twins at 9 months. One, I wish we had done it much earlier. My understanding is you can do it between the 4 and 6 month mark. I think everyone is going to feel comfortable with different ages. But I wish I had known about the age-appropriate wake and nap windows, so I knew when to put the babies down for naps and when to wake them up. Once we sleep trained the twins at 9 months, I found a multiple sleep training Facebook group, and they had these appropriate nap and wake windows posted in different pin posts, and I followed that religiously. So from like 9 months to 12 months, here were the schedules. From 12 months to 16 months, whatever. We followed those so religiously. And once our twins were sleep trained, they slept 12 hours a night. And to this day, they still sleep 11 to 11 and a half hours a night. My twins are 5 now, for context. I wish someone had told me that because of the traumatic birth, I will record a birth story. Because of the traumatic birth that I had, I didn't realize how noise triggered I was going to be when we brought the babies home. Things like the dogs walking on the hardwood floor to the washing machine. I was very triggered, and noise would create a lot of anxiety and frustration in my body. The other thing was how much guilt I was going to feel about the attention I was giving the babes. And something that I do even now to this day is explain to them why I am giving one of them attention and that I will then give the other one attention. So for example, at the beginning, one's crying, needs a diaper change. You're changing twin A, and then all of a sudden twin B needs a diaper change. And so I'm changing twin A and I'm explaining to twin B, hey, mommy's just changing twin A. I'll be with you in right a second. So I was constantly explaining to them why I was giving the other twin attention and that I would give them the next attention. And even to this day, if I'm giving one twin a hug, hey, Alora, I'm giving your brother a hug right now, but you will get a hug right after him. And so I didn't realize how guilty I would feel over the attention I was giving one or the other. And I'm constantly trying to make sure that it is equal. And if it is not, I am explaining why it is not. I knew sleep was important. I knew I was going to lack sleep. I didn't realize how affected I was going to be without sleep. And so one thing that we started doing when my husband went back to work was giving me at least a 6-hour window to sleep. So if I was up with the babies all night, and let's say the last wake up was 2 a.m., my husband would take the next wake up, whether it was like 4 or 5 a.m., so that I could sleep from like 2 to 8 a.m. when he would leave for work. And that helped me feel sane and like a human being again. So ask for a 6-hour sleep window at some point in the night. All right, I watched so many videos on tandem feeding and how to breastfeed the babies. I don't think I watched enough or knew enough about all of the different ways that you can feed your babies, whether you're exclusively breastfeeding them, whether you are breastfeeding and pumping, whether you're breastfeeding and bottle feeding. I didn't realize there were so many different options, and I don't think enough women are talking about what worked for them. So because my milk just wasn't coming in due to the traumatic birth, what ended up happening was I ended up breastfeeding my daughter until 6 months old, and then my mental health really started to suffer, and so we ended up switching both of them to bottle feeding at that point. It actually worked for us. We ended up giving our son a bottle in the hospital because my milk was just not coming in, and we ended up buying a Baby Brezza Pro from Facebook Marketplace on the way home from the hospital to our house. We also ended up buying formula from Europe. We used the Holly brand, I believe it was. That was much cleaner formula for us because I'm really conscious of ingredients. And then the two things I wish someone told me that I needed to budget for and hire for was house cleaner. We have a house cleaner now, which keeps me sane, but I wish I had hired one then at that time. And if keeping a clean house keeps you sane, then hire for that. The other person that we hired, which I would do again in a heartbeat, is a postpartum doula. So I believe they came in, I think it was every single day for at least 2 weeks. And then after that, I think it was like once a week. I actually can't remember the schedule, but this was so helpful. She would come in, she would strap a baby to her chest, she would let me go shower or sleep. The other baby would be in the swing. She would vacuum, she would clean, she would make me lunch, she would put a load of laundry in. She would do things around the house that aren't necessarily like a house cleaner or a housekeeper's duties. I wish I could have had her for longer than the 2-week time period that I think we had her for. Don't forget to subscribe if you want more content around twin mom life. And if you know of a mom expecting or just brought twins home, again, I would love it if you shared this video with them. Thanks for being here. Now go and live well, and I'll see you soon.